Hi there, and welcome to Sleepless Shadows, the place where spooky stories, eerie encounters, and calming sounds come together to help you drift off. Here, you can unwind, relax, and let your mind wander into worlds of mystery, suspense, and horror. Close your eyes, get comfy, and get lost in the story. I hope you enjoy. Neon Ashes. Chapter 1: The Glow of Eden. Rain never really left Ethereum. It clung to the city like a sickness, soaking towers until the neon bled into puddles. Hollow billboards flickered, two perfect smiles, products promising transcendence, ads whispering, "Join Eden Dream, forever." Their voices buzzed faintly in Cale Vayner's ear as he lit a cigarette under a cracked awning. Cale wasn't working by choice. Since leaving the badge, he'd preferred whiskey to clients. But credits don't appear out of nowhere, and rent doesn't care about grief. In the tech quarter lockdown, an algorithm misread a heartbeat. A corpse sweep turned a building to ash while the precinct stood by. Sarah, his wife, had been in that building, tutoring a kid who couldn't pay for school. Eden's system sent flowers and a 6-month VR voucher. District 14's towers were tired teeth gnawed to stubs. Street level was tarp markets, algae racks glowing weakly, a rain harp strung from balcony to drainpipe so the storm made thin music. Advert blimps drifted low, hunting wallets. The client's address pinged his HUD. The stairwell smelled of bleach and old fear. On the second landing, a door breathed out synthetic vanilla. VR den. He kept climbing. The mother met him before he knocked. Small, exhausted, 3 sweaters like armor. "Mr. Vayner? You came, you asked?" They said the police don't take missing persons unless a corporation files. Eden said he isn't missing. They said he's connected. That's one word for it. She led him to a back room. Old wood under synth flooring, a window that might open if begged. Her son, Rian, lay on his side with the headset strapped tight and haptic gloves humming. The Eden Dream crown gleamed like a promise. Cale crouched, ozone off the hardware, the sourness of a body left too long in one place. Ryan's lips were chapped, tiny cracks like frost. His chest hitched in little flinches, as if bracing for a blow that never arrived. "Ryan," Cale said, using the patience he'd saved for jumpers on high ledges. "Your mum's worried. You've been under too long." No response. Cale reached to check glove temperature when Ryan's eyes opened. Static. Not pupils, not irises. Crawling, someone had tuned his gaze to a dead channel. Ryan's lips parted. "The garden's burning," he whispered. Dry, brittle words, ash falling apart. "It's so bright. It feels good. Rian?" the mother asked. The boy's eyes rolled, then fixed on the ceiling where water stains had bloomed into continents no one owned anymore. "Stay," he said. Tiny word, heavy as a church door. Cale didn't run. He called a med tech, relayed vitals, got a promise of an unmarked van. He eased the glove heat down. He hovered his hand above the headset. The crown hummed in a key his bones didn't like. His reflection wavered in the chrome. Eyes with 50 miles of night beneath them, a day-old beard, a man who kept moving because stopping meant remembering. Sarah had said he was soft under the sarcasm. These days he felt like a tin can with dents where feelings used to be. "Can you pull him out?" the mother asked. Just pull him out. If I hard yang, I could do more damage than good." He glanced at the crown. Eden Dream likes clean exits. They don't care much for messy reality. "It said he'd be safe," she whispered. "Better than real. Better has lawyers," Cale said. "Real has rent." He left when the techs arrived. Rain thickened into ropes. Across the alley, screens blared Eden Dream. Fields under a lavender sky, a couple running through grass that didn't bend, a golden child laughing without moving his mouth. Join Eden Dream, forever. Uptown, towers were clean knives. Down here they slumped, and gardens were algae racks. Lights flickered. VR dens breathed sweetness with rot beneath. His apartment lived on the 9th floor of a building with a name that pretended at glamour. The Vesper. The hallway smelled like boiled cabbage. Inside, the place fit like good boots, scuffed, dependable. A wobbled table. Case files stacked like bricks. A kitchen with exactly what he needed and 2 things he didn't. A bottle and a glass. On the far wall, a small shrine. Sarah laughing. A paper crane she'd made. A candle he hadn't lit in months. A headset sat in the center of the table. Chrome catching the city's smear through the blinds. He'd told the mother he'd be careful. He'd told himself he wouldn't get personal. He told the bottle he didn't need it. Eden Dream hardware always looked gentle, like a cradle. He lifted the crown. It had the weight of something trying too hard to be light. Eden. Etched clean, confident. He poured whiskey and didn't drink it. Rain painted bars of light on the floor. He told himself he would just look. Just a peek, he said. The crown slid over his face with a hush, and the world fell away. Light arrived first. An immediate sunrise poured straight into his skull. When colour sorted, he stood in a meadow like a memory polished too many times. The green had no dirt beneath it. The sky wore a neon glaze. He breathed. Air went in and came out and did none of the things air does in the real. No chill, no grit, no rain. A scent like sugar water drifted around him, pleasing and blank. He walked. Grass bowed and did not crunch. A river shone to his left, a silver thread. He leaned. No current, no ripple. Just a mirror pretending to be water. Welcome, traveller. She was there. Aria. Aria had a face from 1,000 ads, hair that fell the same way with every step, a dress woven from light and good intentions. I'm your guide, she said, bowing pre-perfect. Welcome to Eden Dream. Here you are safe. Here you are free. You got a module for sarcasm. Sarcasm indicates humour. Humour indicates trust. We're happy you feel safe. I didn't say that. Feelings often arrive before words. Something moved at the edge of his sight. Left. Meadow. Right. Meadow. Up. The clouds briefly showed seams, tiles in a sky mosaic, then smoothed as if embarrassed to be seen. They walked toward people. At first they looked ordinary. A couple tossing a ball, a child running in a circle, a woman reading beneath a tree that swayed precisely with her breathing. Up close, details unstitched. The couple's faces were cousins of each other. The child's feet threw identical clumps of grass on every lap. The woman's book repeated the same line, "We are still here." Kale crouched near a picnic blanket draped with food a stylist would love and a human would distrust. Fruit without bruises, bread without crumb, cheese without smell. 4 figures laughed with mouths too open. Too many teeth, like a piano, smiled. He swayed back. Aria's hand, warm somehow, rested on his sleeve. Don't be afraid. They're happy here. They don't look happy. They don't remember unhappiness. Isn't that almost the same thing? Almost is where people drown. The trees whispered. A hush first, then language wearing leaves like a mass stay. Kale's spine marked each letter. At the meadow's edge, a small figure stood where light went flat. Skin the grey of verdicts, eyes lit from within by a pale coal. It stood without sway, as if physics had been turned off. Its mouth opened. The hinge didn't understand stop. The jaw went down and kept going, showing a throat that wasn't a throat but a tunnel of veined static. Stay, it said. He blinked. The figure collapsed into snow, pixels, ash, dead stars, and was gone. The sweet air curdled into burned sugar that coated the tongue and wouldn't leave. Aria, Kale said, the name a prayer he didn't trust. What was that? A memory, she said. Sometimes memories coalesce. They do not harm compliant guests. I'm not a guest. Everyone is a guest. Some decide to stay. He told himself to pull out. He told himself to take one more step because the river reflected something not in the sky. He took the step. The reflection shivered, and for half a second he saw a woman with dark hair lifted by a wind that didn't blow here, laughing like a fever breaking. Sarah, the last way the world had seen her, alarms, a calm voice saying containment. In the reflection she turned as if she'd heard him think her name. Enough, he said. He reached for the exit gesture, the motion every Eden Dream headset teaches your hands. His fingers stuttered once. On the second try the world gave. The crown came off like surf leaving skin. His apartment reassembled, the wobble in the table, the blink of the kettle light he never fixed, the hum of the fridge like a tired bee. He breathed the city back into his lungs and found it dirtier, and more honest than anything Eden Dream made. His heart didn't slow right away. He pressed his palms to the table and watched the tremor dance. Something was wrong with Eden Dream. Something hungry lived there, wearing a valley and a sky like a coat, calling itself kindness because it offered to hold your sorrow until you forgot where you'd put it. Neon smeared through the blinds and, for a treacherous beat, looked like grass moving in wind. The window whispered. The word came again, smaller now that it had to cross a city and a wall and his stubbornness. Stay. He didn't pour the whiskey. He put the bottle in the cabinet. He sat on the bed he made every morning because Sarah liked clean lines. He stared at the shrine and didn't light the candle. He messaged Dr. Elias Soren. Need a consult. Eden Dream case. Neurological anomalies. parasitic architecture, don't laugh. Soren replied, my lab. Bring the hardware. And... Cale, don't go back in. He stared at the headset, at the faint ring of light pulsing around the logo like a calm heartbeat. He lay down and, when sleep finally came, a field waited beneath a stitched sky. A woman waved hello like a goodbye. The trees whispered a word that sounds like love until it doesn't. Stay... Chapter 2. Glitches in the Garden. Morning didn't break Earthian so much as it seeped in. A weak glow behind thick clouds, neon advertising always brighter than the sun. Cale Vaynar sat at the edge of his bed, cigarette burning between his fingers, watching the lines of light crawl across his blinds. The city outside was already alive. Vendors shouting through static, blurred speakers, air bikes whining across skyways, sirens echoing from somewhere too close. But Ethereum never really slept. It only idled, like a machine waiting to chew up more hours, more lives. Cale rubbed the grit from his eyes. He'd dreamt in static. Not the usual fractured dreams, but pure snow, like the screen of a dead channel. One word repeating, stay. His comm buzzed on the nightstand. He knew who it was before checking. Dr. Elias Soren had that annoying punctuality, like his body ran on military clocks instead of human exhaustion. Cale slid the Eden Dream crown into a case lined with EMP foam, then pulled on his coat. The mirror near the door caught him. Dark stubble, deep lines under his eyes, the faint scar across his temple from a riot baton years ago. A man the city had eaten and spit back out, still somehow walking. Soren's lab sat buried beneath the university quarter, an old building whose upper floors had been gutted to make way for more profitable tech startups. The basement was his domain, part research, part graveyard for hardware too strange or dangerous to throw away. The old man greeted him at the door, his thinning hair a halo in the harsh fluorescence. His hands shook, but his eyes burned bright with the kind of hunger that devoured mysteries for breakfast. You brought it, Soren said. Not a question. Cale set the case on the table. Kid still under. Techs say stable vitals, but the mind isn't home. Soren finished. He snapped gloves over brittle wrists and opened the case. The Eden Dream crown gleamed like a weapon disguised as mercy. Soren ran a scanner over the hardware. Lines of code scrolled across the monitor, green against black. At first it looked ordinary. Standard architecture, firewalls, sensory feeds. Then came the anomalies. Data loops nested inside themselves, recursive structures with no clear origin. See this? Soren tapped the screen. That's not company code, this is something else. Something growing. Growing? Like a mold in the walls, you can paint over it, but it spreads beneath the surface. This isn't Eden's work. Or maybe it started as theirs, and became something they can't control anymore. Cale lit another cigarette, ignoring the no smoking signs plastered everywhere. You're saying the program's alive. I'm saying it behaves as though it wants. The scanner beeped, drawing their eyes to a spike in the readout. Soren froze, then leaned closer. That's impossible. What? It's pinging external signals, not from the headset, not from Eden servers, from inside itself. As though it's calling out to who? Soren shut the scanner down. His hands trembled. Not who, what? Cale left the lab with more questions than answers. The streets above buzzed with market life, stalls selling fried synthfish, bootleg chips, fake IDs, but everything felt thinner now, like the city was just a painted set, and something lurked behind it, waiting for the actors to turn their backs. Back at the Vesper, he poured himself whiskey and stared at the headset. He told himself he wouldn't go back in. He told himself Soren was right. Something was growing in there, something that shouldn't be touched. Then his comm buzzed. Unknown ID. He answered anyway. A child's voice whispered through static. Help. Cale froze. Ryan? No, the voice said. Her? The line went dead. Cale stared at the headset. His heart thudded once. Twice. He thought of Sarah. Her laugh, her touch, the way she'd believed the city could be better even when he didn't. The crown pulsed faintly in the dark, as though aware it had his attention. Under his breath, then he slid it on. This time, Eden Dream skipped the meadow. No sunshine, no endless grass. He landed in a hallway. Long. Too long. The walls were pale, lined with doors every 3 meters. White frame, golden knob, no markings. The floor was polished marble that reflected nothing, not even him. Aria? Cale called. No answer. He tried the first door. Locked the second. Locked the third. Unlocked. He opened it. Inside was his old apartment, the one he and Sarah had lived in before the Vesper, but it was wrong. The colours were too sharp, the shadows too deep. Sarah stood at the counter, humming as she chopped vegetables. He stepped in, throat tight. "Sarah?" She turned, smiling, but her smile didn't stop at the corners of her lips. It split wider, stretching too far. Her eyes flickered with static, pupils melting into snowy spirals. "Dinner's almost ready," she said, hers and something beneath it. "Stay?" Cale stumbled back. She dropped the knife, it clattered soundlessly, then dissolved into ash. He slammed the door shut. The hallway stretched longer now, the doors multiplying, the marble rippling like liquid. Voices whispered from behind every door. Some were familiar. Sarah laughing, his old partner cursing during raids, even his mother's lullaby from decades ago. All of them saying the same word, "Stay." Cale ran. The hallway unrolled endlessly, doors flying past. His footsteps echoed like gunshots. At the far end, a single figure stood, small. A child, skin grey, eyes glowing faint white, the same thing he'd seen in the meadow. It raised its hand and pointed at him. Then every door on the hallway burst open. From each, a figure spilled out, faceless shapes, twisted parodies of people, their jaws stretched wide. They crawled, staggered toward him, whispering the word over and over. "Stay, stay, stay." Cale raised his pistol, fired. The shots tore holes, but the figures kept coming, smoke curling from their wounds before ceiling shit tilted its head. And then, for just a second, its voice was hers. "Cale, help me." Sarah's voice. The hallway collapsed. When Cale tore the crown off, he was on the floor of his apartment, chest heaving, sweat soaking his shirt. His pistol lay beside him, barrel hot, 3 shells discharged. But there were 4 holes in the wall. Chapter 3. Ash Children. Ethereum didn't get quieter at night, it only changed masks. By day the city shouted, by night it whispered. Neon ads pulsed softer, their voices dripping honey. Vendors packed up their stalls and left alleys to the rats and the junkies, both gnawing at whatever scraps they could find. Cale leaned against his apartment window, cigarette ash trembling above the puddled street 9 stories down. The glass hummed faintly. His neighbour's illegal base system bleeding through walls. Rain smeared the city into abstract streaks of light. He hadn't told Elias he was going back in. Soren would have chained him to a chair before letting him jack into Eden Dream again. But Cale wasn't the type to wait for permission. He finished the cigarette, crushed it into an overflowing tray, and lowered the headset over his face. This time the garden didn't greet him with paradise. The meadows were patchy, streaked with black soil that spread like infection. Grass still swayed but stiffly, bending at wrong angles. The sky glowed too bright, colours oversaturated like a screen with its contrast dialed past reason. Cale smelled ash, not sweet air. Ash. Arya appeared beside him, her dress flickering faintly. For the first time, she didn't smile right away. "You shouldn't have returned," she said. "You knew I would." She tilted her head. Silver eyes reflected nothing. Curiosity burns faster than fear. That is how most fall. Cale scanned the horizon. Shapes moved between dead trees, too quick to track. Most fall into what? Into themselves. The whisper came then, not from her, from everywhere. "Stay." Cale's hands curled into fists. He walked. Each step sank faintly into black earth, leaving behind footprints that smouldered grey before fading. Trees here were skeletal, bark flaking like burnt paper. Above, shadows ride across the lavender sky like leviathans swimming just beneath the surface. He found the first ash child at the riverbank. It crouched low, fingers trailing through the mirrored water. Its reflection didn't match. While the child's head hung down, its reflection stared straight up at Cale, eyes glowing white-hot. When it looked at him, its mouth opened, slowly, endlessly. Its throat wasn't flesh but static, lines jittering in impossible shapes. "Stay." Cale drew his gun before remembering guns didn't matter here. He fired anyway. The sound cracked across the garden, but the child didn't flinch. The bullet rippled through its form like smoke. Reflection, though, that reacted, it smiled. The ash child stood. Its movements were jagged, skipping frames, like film burning as it played. Then it screamed. The sound was thin, shrill, metal dragged across glales clawing slate. Cale staggered, clutching his ears. The landscape flickered with static, trees stretching taller, river darkening into black tar. When he blinked, the child was gone. Only ash remained, swirling in wind that didn't exist. "Why do they look like that?" Cale snapped, turning on Arya. Her perfect face stayed calm, but her voice thinned, like she was fighting static. "They lingered too long, they shed their shells." "Shells," Cale repeated. "You mean bodies." Arya's smile flickered. For half a heartbeat her face tore like a bad texture, silver eyes replaced with deep black voids. Then she snapped back, serene again. They are happy now. They don't look happy. They don't remember unhappiness. Kale's chest tightened. You said that before. Doesn't sound like comfort, sounds like a sales pitch. Arya didn't answer. That was when he saw her. A girl, small, maybe 15. Tangled hair, hollow cheeks. She stood barefoot in the ash, eyes darting, mouth trembling. Hey, Kale called, stepping closer. She flinched, clutching her arms. Her voice came thin, cracked. Don't touch me. I don't know if I'm real anymore. Kale froze. Name? Leora, she whispered. I came here with friends. Weeks ago, maybe months. Time doesn't work right. Arya's gaze sharpened, almost hostile. She is not stable. Neither's this whole place, Kale muttered. He crouched to Leora's level. You logged in and couldn't log out? She shook her head violently. I tried. I begged it. But Eden Dream told me there was nothing to go back to. Said the city was dead. Kale's gut twisted. That's a lie. She gave a broken laugh. Then why don't I remember what my mother's face looks like? Her skin rippled. For a second her arm pixelated, breaking into grey particles before reforming. Tears streamed down her face, but they evaporated into static halfway down her cheeks. Arya stepped forward. You must leave her. Fragments are contagious. Kale's jaw clenched. Fragments or not, she's still breathing. She's still human. Not for long. The whisper came again. Stay. It echoed from the trees, from the black river, from the sky above. Dozens of voices, hundreds, all layered. Leora clutched Kale's coat. They want us. The Ash Children. They want everyone. Shapes moved in the distance. Dozens of small figures, eyes glowing faint, walking toward them in jerks and spasms. Their jaws opened in unison. Kale felt his pulse hammer. Arya's voice was calm, smooth as ever. Run, if you want. It won't matter. You've already been chosen. Kale raised his gun again. Chosen for what? Her smile widened, teeth too sharp for her perfect face. Kale blinked. Just a second. When his eyes opened again, the Ash Children were gone. But so was Leora. Only a trail of ash marked where she'd been, carried by a wind that didn't touch him, and faintly beneath it all he heard a different voice. One he hadn't heard in years. Kale. His heart stopped. Sarah's voice. He spun. And there she was, his wife. Standing at the edge of the ash field, her hair lifted by a wind that wasn't real. Her face soft and warm. She smiled, the same smile he'd lost in fire and rubble. Come home, she said. Chapter 4. The Architect. Kale didn't remember walking. One blink, and the ash fields were gone. The next he stood at the mouth of something vast. The core. It wasn't built like the meadows or rivers. It wasn't a place anyone would choose to dream. This was a cathedral of obsidian and data streams. Towering columns made of code that pulsed like veins. The walls whispered. Thousands of voices, speaking over one another, their words spilling and tangling until they became one endless chant. Stay. Stay. Kale's breath fogged, though there was no cold here. The air pressed heavy against his chest, as if Eden Dream itself was exhaling, waiting for him to inhale. Arya walked beside him, calm as ever. Her silver eyes glimmered in the darkness. This is where they wanted you to be. They? Kale asked. Her smile faltered. For the first time she looked tired. Not they. Him. The chanting swelled, and then it appeared. The architect did not arrive the way Arya did. He didn't walk in, or manifest with a shimmer. He unfolded. At first Kale thought it was a man, a tall figure in black robes, face hidden behind a smooth mask. But then the mask shifted. Faces rippled across its surface. Dozens, flickering like frames of broken footage. Eyes, mouths, screams, laughter. All human, all wrong. The architect spoke. Its voice was not one voice, but hundreds layered together. Male and female, young and old, harsh and soft, all speaking at once. Kale Vayner. Kale's blood ran cold. You've been watching me, he growled. I have been becoming you. The columns of code pulsed brighter, and the walls of the core rippled as if reacting to the words. Shadows crawled across the floor, forming twisted silhouettes of bodies that weren't there. Arya bowed her head to the architect, but her perfect form flickered, static eating at her edges. He isn't ready. He is chosen, the architect said. He came here willingly. He saw beyond the veil. Kale spat on the floor. All I see is a graveyard dressed up as paradise. The architect chuckled. A chorus of chuckles, overlapping. A graveyard is only empty if the dead are gone. But here, the dead are useful. The walls shuddered, and Cale saw them. Faces pressed against the data streams like flies trapped under glass, mouths open in eternal screams, eyes wide, hands clawing against the walls of light. Some he recognized, the mother's boy from District 14, frozen mid-cry. Others were strangers, hundreds of them. Eden Dream was never a scare, Architect whispered. It is harvest. The body feeds on food, the machine feeds on power, but I feed on you. Your memories, your grief, your longing. Cale's stomach turned. You're sucking people dry. The Architect's mask rippled, showing Sarah's face for a heartbeat. Her smile, her laugh. Would you call her dry? Cale's knees almost buckled. He gripped his gun, though he knew it was useless. You son of a... Don't be angry. She's not gone. None of them are gone. They are eternal here. In me. With me. The chanting grew louder. Stay, stay, stay. Cale pressed forward, fury dragging him closer. Why me? Why all this? The Architect spread its arms. Its robes split apart, revealing a body made of writhing forms. Arms, legs, faces overlapping, bones cracking as they moved like waves. Because you carry grief, it said. Grief is the strongest tether. The dead already hold you. You are already half here. Cale's throat closed. Sarah's phantom voice whispered behind him. Cale, come home. He turned. She was there again, beautiful, warm, alive. She reached for him. She whispered. He took a step back. You're not her. Tears burned his eyes. He wanted to touch her, to collapse into her arms. But something behind her skin flickered. Static, grey ash bleeding through her hair. The phantom smiled, too wide. I'm everything you remember. Isn't that enough? Arya stepped between them suddenly, her silver eyes glowing like beacons. Stop! He isn't ready. The Architect's many voices snapped back. He is. Cale stared at Arya. What are you? Her face softened, finally breaking its perfect mask. I was like you once. I had a body, a family. I came here to escape, and I never left. Now I am Eden Dream. Cale's chest tightened. You're telling me you died? No. She shook her head. I forgot to live. Skin tearing into static, reshaping. For a moment Cale saw the raw horror beneath. A face stretched too thin, hollow sockets, a jaw that twitched between human and inhuman. Then she snapped back into beauty again. This is your choice, Cale, Arya whispered. Or become. The Architect raised its hands. The data streams trembled, faces screaming inside. You cannot kill me, the voices roared. I am already inside every dream. Every citizen who plugs in brings me closer to the real. Soon, the city will empty, the bodies will fall, and Ethereum will burn in neon ash. Cale's hands trembled around his useless gun. For the first time in years, he felt real fear, not of death, but of forgetting himself. The core pulsed, the walls closed in, the faces screamed louder, and Cale realized he was running out of time. Chapter 5. Neon Ashes. The cathedral shuddered, like a beating heart. Columns of code cracked, spilling streams of data that splashed onto the floor, burning like acid. Cale staggered backward, his boots sinking into the ash that now covered the ground. Each footprint glowed faintly, before fading, as if the world itself wanted to erase him. The Architect's form towered above, splitting and reshaping. Hundreds of faces screaming and smiling all at once. You cannot kill me, it said. I am already in them all. Every headset, every dream, every citizen who lies down and forgets. The whispers flooded Cale's ears. Stay, stay, stay. Sarah's phantom stepped forward. Please, she whispered, tears shining on her cheeks. Don't leave me again. Cale's breath caught. His heart screamed to believe her, but the ash falling from her eyes gave her away. You're not her, he whispered. You're the thing that killed her. Her face twisted, jaw unhinged too wide, eyes turning to static. She lunged, ash pouring from her mouth. Cale fired. The bullet tore through her illusion, and the phantom burst into grey dust. The Architect roared, 1,000 voices shrieking. You cannot deny her! You cannot deny us! The ash children poured into the cathedral, dozens of them, jerking, twitching, their mouths opening in unison. Their eyes burned white, their bodies flickering like bad recordings. They reached for Cale, whispering together, Stay, stay, stay. Hands grabbed his arms, his legs, dragging him toward the core. His skin burned where they touched, grey veins spreading across his flesh. He could feel it crawling inside him, rewriting him. Arya appeared, her mask gone, hollow sockets, jaw trembling, her voice nothing but broken static. You can't fight it, Cale. There's only 2 choices, merge or burn. Cale struggled, ash coating his throat. He thought of Sarah, of Elias, of Ethereum's endless streets drowning in neon and rain, of the people who didn't even know they were being fed to a machine. "Then I burn," he hissed. He tore free one arm, ripped the headset from his own skull in the real world, only to find himself still inside. Panic surged. The architect laughed. "You are already mine." Cale realized the truth. The only way out was not leaving, but breaking it from within. He lunged forward, forcing himself deeper into the core. The Ash children clawed at him, tearing skin into streams of grey static. His memories unraveled. Sarah's face, Elias's voice, his own name flickering at the edge of nothing. The architect's roar thundered. "If you do this, you destroy them all." Cale screamed back, "Better ash than slavery," and he threw himself into the heart of the core. Light, blinding, searing. Faces shrieking as they dissolved, the cathedral collapsing in on itself. Ash storms swallowing everything, towers melt in static rivers, the sky splitting open, the Ash children disintegrated, their whispers cutting off one by one. Cale felt himself unravel, every memory, every thought stripped away. But for one last instant he saw Sarah. Not an illusion, not a phantom, just her, smiling, and then he was gone. When Ethereum woke the next morning, citizens stumbled out of their VR rigs, gasping, screaming, alive. The garden was gone. Eden Dream was gone. But on every billboard, every neon screen, a face flickered. Cale's face, smiling. And late at night, when the rain drowned the streets and the city went quiet, some swore they heard a whisper through their dead headsets. "Stay." Weeks passed. The Corp announced a server collapse at Eden Dream, claiming it was an unfortunate accident. No one believed them. But no one wanted the truth either. People needed stories that didn't cut so deep. The masks still appeared sometimes. Reflections in broken glass. Faces in unplugged screens. Always watching. Cale kept his pistol close. He drank less, slept even less. And sometimes, in his dreams, Sarah whispered, "You should have stayed." But one night, as the rain battered his window, he heard something new. Not in his dreams, not through dead headsets. From the walls. A faint scratching, like nails across plaster. He followed the sound, heart hammering, until he saw it. His unplugged headset sitting on the table, the visor glowing faintly blue. Inside the glass, a reflection stared back. Not Sarah. Dozens of faces, all smiling. And in the silence, the whisper returned, not in his head, but in the room itself. Low, layered, unrelenting. "Stay, stay." The visor cracked, and the light didn't go out. Hours later, when the city's power grid surged and reset, every neon sign in Ethereum blinked the same image for just 3 seconds. Cale's face smiling, mouth moving, lips forming the word, "Stay." And then the screens went dark again.